episode 32 of the Caffeinated Craft Mamas podcast. My podcast all about my knitting, crocheting, and bookish life in Southwest Missouri, where I live with my partner Richard, our 3 kids, and our dog. Okay, it is 9:45 on January 11th. William is asleep. Jade is upstairs hiding in her room. Richard is at work. This was the only time I was going to get to podcast until like next week. And I really wanted to get a podcast recorded for you guys because it's been over a month. Christmas happened, and we'll talk about that in Life and Junk. We have a lot of things to talk about, so we're going to get started. But just bear with me because this is a new recording time for me and I'm not used to this. So we are going to talk about what I am wearing. I have a 2023 total FO count. I have the FOs that I have finished since I talked to you guys last. I have 1 FO for 2024. I have some whips to talk about, one of which has taken over my life. Just kidding, but really it kind of has. I have a serious stash talk that we need to have. And then I have Scrappy Time and Life and Junk and Future Plans. So grab yourself something nice to drink. I'm drinking a strawberry liquid IV, and we'll just hop right in. If you would like to follow me on social media, please feel free to do so. I have my Instagram, Caffeinated Craft Mama. And then I also am trying to get a little bit more active over on Ravelry. I am Tamara Milton 2011 over there. Feel free to come give me a friend or follow or whatever that is. I'm really great at like writing down my start date and end date for projects in notebooks, but then I forget where I put the notebooks, or I lose them, or they get thrown away, or kids do something with them. So I'm hoping to get better at putting my stuff into Ravelry so I can go back and look at things and be like, oh yeah, I made this sweater for this person and this was the size I used. I was trying to knit someone a pair of socks and I could not remember what size socks I made them to save my life. And I had to text them and ask them for their shoe size again, which kind of ruined the surprise. So I know if I can keep track of that stuff a little bit better, then I can surprise people with new hand knit socks. Not that I knit socks for very many people, but I do have a few very knit worthy people in my life that deserve socks. So, okay, we're going off on tangents already. Okay, let's do 2023 FO totals. I knit in 2023 15 pairs of socks, 5 garments, 5 hats, 9 other projects, and 15 washcloths. So I didn't think that was too bad. Number of socks was a little low, but I kind of lost my knitting mojo for a couple of months last year. So overall, I didn't think that was too bad. Since I have seen you guys, I finished, and I'm just going to put them probably right here, all the pictures, because obviously everything's been gifted already. I finished 3 pairs of Christmas socks. I finished 12 washcloths, and I finished Richard's Felici socks. I finished Richard's Felici socks on like 11:30 on New Year's Eve. He was at work. I was waiting up for him to get home, and I was literally doing the tubular bind off when he walked through the door. So I was able to give those to him, and he had a new pair of socks to go into the new year with. And I finished everybody's Christmas socks. I did purchase more Christmas yarn right after Christmas so that I have Christmas yarn for next year's socks already. So I'm hoping to get one of those cast on pretty soon. I've kind of been a monogamous knitter. Don't know who I am because that's not like me at all. But I have really only knit on one project for like the last 2 weeks. I'm really sorry if you just heard that truck go by. I live right next to an interstate, and so we get noisy trucks, and my goodness, for the motorcycles. It's insane the amount of motorcycles that ride up and down this highway. Okay, let's see. FOs for 2024, I have 1 so far. When your 5-year-old comes to you and says, Mommy, my hands are cold, I need some mittens. You knit him mittens because he asked for some. So I knit William a pair of the world's simplest mittens by Tin Can Knits in this fluorescent orange color that I got from my local yarn store, Mad Knitter. And I crocheted a cord to go between the two. Unfortunately, I way overestimated how long the cord needed to be. So I have like doubled it over and sewed it all together. I probably need to make it even shorter. I purposefully did not weave in the ends on the little zigzag so I could pull it out if I needed to or add more to it. But he loves them. He's worn them to school the last couple days, and he's really gonna need them because Monday it's supposed to be like a high of 4 here. A high of 4. Like negatives at nighttime. Ridiculous. So that is the only FO I have so far. 1 down, 23 to go. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but okay, whips. We'll start with my 1 crochet whip. I only brought 1 whip with me into 2023 or 2024 from 2023. Yeah, into 2024. I was pretty dang proud of that. Coming into 2023 from 2022, I brought, I believe, 4 whips with me, which isn't awful, but still, that's a lot. So I was pretty proud of the fact that the only thing I brought with me was the Lord of the Rings blanket. So we are still on Boromir. I have only done about 5 rows since you guys saw this last. But 5 rows is 5 rows. So this is like his shirt, and this is his beard. I'm about to start his eye, I think. I have like 5 more rows until I'm at the midpoint, so I just need to sit down and do this. I've been doing the 30 days of yoga that Adrienne puts out, of Yoga with Adrienne, and she always says that the hardest part is just hitting play. I get to do that after I get done doing this. So, because I was a procrastinator today, but that's okay. So we are still on the Boromir block. I am determined to get this blanket done. I just have been sucked into this other project we're going to talk about right now. This is all Amber's fault. Okay, so my friend Amber of Ambi Murray Knits, I talk about her a lot, knit a whatever sweater with one of her advents this year, and she put it on and she sent me a picture, and I was like, oh my god, that is the cutest sweater I've ever seen. And I was like, I have to have stash yarn to knit this sweater. So I will pop a photo in here of the fade that I had. And I had originally planned to knit a Le Pouf cardigan out of this fade. I actually have that written in my stash notebook for this year. And I looked at it and I was realizing I was going to have to change the sleeves because I'm not into poofy sleeves, and I was going to have to lengthen the body a lot, and there was just a lot of math that was going to have to go on. And if you know me, you know math isn't my favorite thing. Thank God for Gretchen, because math is hard, and knitting friends who are good at math are amazing. So shout out to Gretchen, I love you. So I started my own whatever sweater with that fade. This is coming out, this gray. I started with it and I was going to do it for the cuffs and collar, and I just don't like it. So I'm gonna pull it out, and I have some more of this top color, the gray, and I'm just gonna pick it up, cut that out of there, and then knit a new collar. So here is the fade, the beautiful blue purple fade into black. It makes me so happy, guys. Ignore all the stitch markers. That's how I keep track of my decreases. I put a decrease on I put a stitch marker on every decrease. And this sleeve, guys, I'm on the black. I've got, I think, 4 rows of black left, and then switch to the smaller needles, and 6 rows of rib and the bind off. So I don't have a ton left on here either. And then the body, of course. But I started this sweater a week ago. Like, it has taken up my life, and it would have been even farther, but I had to dye the black. I didn't have the black in stash, but I had some blank yarn, and I had black sock dye and citric acid, so we dyed some yarn. I did a tubular bind off. That's what I'll do on the bottom because I hate myself. No, I love how tubular bind offs look. It's just a pain in the butt when you're like pulling 4 feet of yarn through the stitches, but it's worth it in the end. So yeah, I am in love with this sweater. I would love to have this done by Monday so I could just like curl up in this sweater on Monday when it's cold and nasty outside. It would just be wonderful. So I'm going to tell you guys what all of these are, and if I have balls of this yarn, I will show it to you in a ball too. The top is Winter in Velaris by Fangirl Fibers, and that fades into Whip It Out by Kimber's Cozy Creations. My daughter's invading, pardon any extra noise. Next is Loot Llama by Kimber's Cozy Creations, followed by a purple that I dyed myself. I actually dyed this to make a top out of, and I decided that I would just do something else with it. Into a color that Kim actually dyed for me. I contacted her and I had the Fangirl Fibers and the other 2 from Kim, and I was like, hey, I need something to finish this out. And so she dyed this for me. She called it Midnight, and then the black I dyed myself. So yeah, I am just in love with this sweater, and I just want to finish it and wear it and never take it off. So that's what we're gonna do. I don't really know why it has sucked me in the way it has, but it has, so I'm here for it. I will say this. I purchased the pattern. The pattern for the whatever sweater is by Julie Nits in Paris, and it is not a pattern. It is a guideline. It is a $2 pattern, but it is a guideline. A lot of it, she says, cast on however many stitches you want. That's why it's called a whatever sweater. You don't swatch. You use whatever needles you want. You increase on your raglan to as big as you want. So I've been keeping some notes because I definitely plan on doing another one of these in more of a scrappy version. And there are some things I already know I'll change. And this is living in a project bag that I knit, or not that I knit, I traded with somebody for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. I made a project bag and sent to them, and they sent me one too. And I love it. It's Star Wars with hearts because everybody loves Star Wars. That is a hill I will die on, so don't argue with me. Okay. Next, the only other active whip I have, I don't even know who I am, I only have 3 whips going, is a sock because I am incapable of not having at least one sock going. This is my purse sock. This lives in my purse. This is Peacock by West Yorkshire Spinners. It's a sock for Richard. Actually, I'm hoping to get socks for both of us out of this one, but we'll see. I'll probably do shorties out of these since the last pair I made him were long socks. I'm just going to alternate long and short. I would love to be able to knit him at least 10 pairs of socks this year because he goes through them pretty quickly. He's really hard on socks. And I do patch them, but after the 2nd or 3rd time that you patch them, they kind of are really falling apart. We're starting to realize he's a toe walker because that like bottom right here is typically where he wears out his socks. So yeah, nothing special about this. It's just my typical sock recipe. Cast on with Judy Becker's Magic Cast On. I cast on 20, increase to 60. I'll do 60 until I get to however many rows I need for his sock. I'll have to look. I think it's 55. And then I do increases, like the gusset increases for 20 rows. And then I do my heel turn. So yeah, you guys don't need to know the whole process that I knit a sock, but, and it is living inside, oh, those are on US ones. It is living inside my Lila Styles Lord of the Rings project bag. I love these bags. I would really like to get another one of these. I have put myself on a yarn buying ban, and that just means I have more money to spend on bags and notions and needles and all the fun things. So, oh, another funny story about the whatever sweater. So I have Chiau Shorties, but I've been buying them individually. So like originally I bought a set of size 4s because I needed 4s for one project. Then I bought 5s. Then I bought 7s. Well, I thought I had 6s, and that's what I'm knitting this whatever sweater out of, is 6s. And so I ordered them. I'm 90% sure the sweater will be done before the needles have even shipped. So, but I ordered them with birthday money, so it's not that big of a deal. But still, I was like, really? I guess they'll be ready for the next sweater that I make, because these will be done. Okay, now we're gonna move on to Scrappy Time. Take a drink. So I have put 9 new squares on this. This is the Crocheted Memories blanket by Hannah of the Cozy Cottage Crochet. She has a pattern that you can purchase, or you can just make them yourselves and figure it out. I purchased the pattern because I wanted to support her. I really like these. I like this a lot better than a mitered square because, one, I think the stripes show up better if it's self-striping yarn. Here's another self-striping. I just think it looks better. 2, these are so much faster. One of those mitered squares, I'm probably just a slow knitter, but one of those mitered squares would take me an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes to knit. I can crank one of these puppies out in like 45 minutes, and that's with stopping to do things for my children all the time. So I really just enjoy these better. I am hoping to make this blanket big enough for my bed. That is my hope. So definitely making sure that I am using all superwash, all sock yarn, all with nylon in it, so that I can actually like wash this puppy in the machine. I know everybody that is a diehard knitter just gasped at the blasphemy that came out of my mouth, but it'll go in the machine. So it'll go on delicate. It'll be the only thing in there with wool wash, but it'll go in the machine. So there is that. And I have a bunch of minis in here, not counting anything that I have been knitting with. And okay, you guys, so I did the Mad Cow Mandy's Advent swap this year, and I feel so bad for my Advent partner. Like, she went above and beyond, and I did not. So I am really looking forward to next year so that I can amp up the what I did, because like she had, each yarn had the maker and the name of the yarn and the fiber content on a little card with the yarn. She hanged them all. Like I just sent them to her in balls. I felt awful. So I will definitely do better next year, but I definitely need to up my Advent game. Okay, and talking about Advents, let's talk about stash, guys. Let's just talk about stash. I own, in this townhome, 32 pounds of yarn. Let me say that again. 32 pounds of yarn are currently living in this townhome. I counted up how much fingering weight I had and how much DK weight I have. The reason being, I am planning on getting rid of all of the worsted weight yarn that does not go into the Lord of the Rings blanket. There would only be one reason I would keep it, and it would be because I might be making some hats. There is a possibility that my mother is possibly going on a missions trip to Africa this summer. If she does, they take winter clothing there for widowed women in the villages that they visit. And I would knit up a bunch of hats to send with her acrylic would be good. I'll also probably do some wool, but I want them to be able to withstand some rough treatment if they need to, because the villages that they visit, I don't think all the homes have running water, that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that they can take a beating. So that's why I didn't count the worsted weight yarn that I have. I have 9,060 grams of fingering weight yarn, and I have 5,819 grams of DK weight yarn. I actually have 5,619 grams of DK weight yarn because I'm sending 2 skeins to Melissa. I got a Hello Kitty advent calendar as payment for some sample knitting that I did from Fangirl Fibers, and I was sending pictures of some of it to Melissa, and she really liked a couple of the colors, so I am sending them to her because her birthday is in a couple days, so I need to get that in the mail to her. But yeah, that is a lot of yarn, you guys. I have 13 sweaters quantities in fingering weight alone. I'm 90% sure. Let me pull the notebook out. I think it's 13. I wrote it all in here. Yeah, I have 13 sweater quantities in fingering weight alone. Now that is short sleeved sweaters and long sleeve sweaters, but still that's a lot. And I have 5 sweaters quantities in DK weight. That's plenty for me to knit on without buying anything this year. So I am giving myself a couple of loopholes, like buying yarn for a gift. If I realize that I want to make something specific for someone, and I don't have it in stash, I can purchase just what I need for that project. Jade said she wanted a Slytherin themed Harry Potter sweater, and so I will need to order the Slytherin green and the gray because I don't have any of that in stash, and I don't have enough yarn that I could dye to that color to get her the sweater. Plus I'm making hers out of acrylic because she's 12. So that's the only time I'm going to allow myself to buy yarn this year. I don't need to add to my stash. Some of this stuff has been sitting in stash for years. It's time for it to be knit up and loved. So, and not just loved while I sit there on my shelf and look at it and tell it it's pretty. So that is the plan for this year. That kind of gets me into future knits. When I come talk to you guys in February, I would like to have Boromir finished, and I would like to at least have 2 more of the Lord of the Ring characters done. I can realistically get a block done a week if I do 5 rows a day, because the beginning and the end, I usually do 10 rows that day because they're short. So it's, my wrist can handle more crocheting with that. So I could realistically easily get that done if I would just pick those up and work on them. So that is my goal for February. That whatever sweater will be done in the next couple of days. So my next sweater that I would like to cast on is a love note. I already have the yarn set aside in a project bag. I've already swatched. I just need to cast it on. But like I said, this whatever sweater has kind of like sucked up all my knitting time. So there's that. Let's see. And then I would like to finish the pair of socks I have on the needles for Richard. And I probably need to start my brother-in-law's birthday socks because his birthday's next month. I should do that. He always likes shorties though, so it's not that scary. Okay, so let's talk about life and junk. Christmas was great, but busy. My birthday was great, but busy. I did not get my typical birthday gift this year. We didn't get to go look at Christmas lights. It just didn't work out for us too, but I got to spend time with family, and I got some really neat gifts, and the kids had a really good Christmas. They were very blessed, and it was just a good overall holiday season. Everybody was healthy. We were able to all get together. So it was good. It was good. The kids are back in school, which is nice. They were definitely ready to go back. We love breaks. We love Christmas break, spring break, Thanksgiving break, but they're always ready to go back. My kids thrive on that routine of going to school. We had a snow day on Tuesday, and William had a rough day. Snow days are something that, while I think he will appreciate when he is older, that change in his routine is very hard for him. So, yeah. I have started a part-time job. I am tutoring second graders here in Springfield. I'm job sharing with my mom, so that's fun. I get to work with them 2 days a week. And they are second graders and a third grader who are struggling with reading. I struggled to learn how to read. If it wasn't for my mom and the fact that she was determined that I would be a book lover and a reader, I probably would not be one, because I really struggled to learn how to read. It took me a long time. So I am excited about the chance to be able to give that back to some kids and to work with them. And they're a fun group. We have a lot of fun. I worked with them Monday. I will be there tomorrow afternoon unless they cancel school. That all depends on the weather. So we shall see. Richard is still enjoying his new evening shift. We are all starting to finally get used to it because he's gone in the evenings. It's just very weird for the kids and for me. But we are all kind of finally getting into a new routine with that. So that's good. But yeah, now I'm just rambling. So I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to have Jade go to bed, and then I'm going to do yoga. And I'm going to wait and do my editing on here tomorrow. And I will hopefully have this up for you guys tomorrow before I go to tutoring. So I hope that this video finds you all healthy, happy, and safe. And I hope that you pick out something to make this year that you are just absolutely going to love as much as I am loving my whatever sweater, because it has truly reminded me why I love knitting so much. I was kind of getting into another funk, and this has completely brought me out of it. So I am really excited for this Make 2024 in 24, and we're going to see how many things we can get done. So I look forward to seeing you guys next month, and I will see you later. Bye.